Hello, my name is Charlie Titchener. I'm representing the International Function Point Users Group out of Princeton Junction, New Jersey in the US. And the purpose of this presentation is to introduce you to the software non-functional assessment process, or how to measure the size of non-functional user requirements for software. And with that, I will begin to share my screen. This presentation is copyrighted by IFPUG. All methods used in this presentation represent that of the International Function Point Users Group, with the acronym IFPUG, unless otherwise stated. Also, please reference the below publications. This is from ISO, which references our SNAP methodology, and this one is from IEEE, which also references the SNAP methodology. This presentation is the first of 5 introductory presentations for the SNAP method of defining and sizing software quantified by quantifying the non-functional user requirements. There will be more presentations showing the SNAP method in overview detail. References for all of the introductory presentations are at the end of video 1. So if you go to the end of video 2 or 3 or 4 and you see some references, you can always come back or some citation marks there, come back to the end of video 1, you'll see the references there. The first video is our overview. The second video is the categories and subcategories of SNAP. The third video is going to be really video 3A and 3B to show a worked example. And our last video is going to be a review of the first 3 videos. The SNAP methodology was verified statistically through a beta test conducted by the International Function Point Users Group back in 2012. Organizations can use metrics for a variety of different purposes. In strategic planning, for example, you'll have a set of goals in your strategic plan, and you'll need to have metrics to be able to measure how well those goals were achieved at the end of your fiscal year or at the end of your time period. Or if you look at the goals, for example, quarterly, to what extent are they being achieved at that point in time? For employee evaluations, you may give an employee a set of performance standards, and at the end of the rating period, you will rate them perhaps on a scale of 1 to 5 on how well they completed those performance standards. And based on that, they'll get a rating, which may qualify them for a bonus, make them eligible for a promotion, make them eligible for a pay increase or whatever. Analytics are used in professional and other sports. There was a very popular movie called Moneyball a number of years ago in the United States, where it portrayed the baseball team, the Oakland Athletics, were one of the worst performing teams in the major leagues, and they had one of the lowest payrolls. And it showed how by incorporating analytics into their strategy, they became one of the best performing teams within 1 year and made the playoffs. Analytics are used throughout baseball. I'm sure they're used throughout most, if not all, professional sports in the United States, and probably throughout the world. How do you measure your return on investment? This is your business value. And I'm not speaking just about businesses which are corporations. I'm talking about any kind of an organization. It might be a nonprofit, it might be a government organization, it might be the military. But how do you tell your stakeholders what your return on investment is? You need metrics to measure that kind of business value. Now, metrics don't necessarily tell the entire story, but a well-designed metrics program can be a very good multiplier effect for a very low relative price. Software development organizations can use metrics to forecast costs, schedules, measure quality, return on investment, and so forth. But the metrics must be mathematically well constructed, and they should be approved by the industry. The software non-functional assessment process is mathematically well constructed, and it has been approved by the industry. Now, functional user requirements and non-functional user requirements are two different things. Functional user requirements describe what the software will do, and non-functional user requirements describe how the software will do it. Now, please keep this distinction in mind as we go through this presentation and all other subsequent presentations of this series. Also keep this in mind as you do literature reviews or other kinds of studies of software metrics. Now, for IFPUG, functional user requirements, what the software will do, are represented by things such as an input process, inputting data into a database system, retrieving data through queries, retrieving data with calculations through outputs, or accessing data that's from somebody else's database that you need for yours. Those are kinds of things of what the software will do. Now let's talk about how the software will do it, and those are non-functional user requirements. So it's just a picture here. We have a software application, and by a software application I mean the set of all software user requirements. Those which represent what the software will do are functional. Those that represent how the software will do it are non-functional. One standard unit of a functionality is called the function point. This is similar to 1 gallon of gasoline or 1 liter of gasoline or 1 meter of distance or 1 inch of distance. These are international standards. So a function point is 1 standard unit of functionality. A snap point is 1 standard unit of non-functionality in most cases. The SNAP methodology is published in IFPUG's Software Non-Functional Assessment Process, SNAP Assessment Practices Manual, and it's currently in Release 2.4. This provides the rules for how to size 4 categories and 14 subcategories of non-functional software user requirements. It provides definitions, and it provides over 100 different examples. You can download it for free at this link. I'll leave this link up here for a second. You can also go back into this video and stop it here and copy it down later on. I'll show you the link later on. Now the following the following slides show the categories and subcategories. There are 4 categories: data operations, interface design, technical environment, and architecture. And among those 4 categories are 14 subcategories. We'll go into these in a little bit more detail in the next video. But to do effort estimation for software user requirements, you take the number of function points, you multiply that by the productivity rate, like how many function points per day or how many function points per week on average can your organization produce, and that will provide you your functional effort. And the effort for the non-functional is the number of snap points you have plus your snap point productivity, and that will give you your non-functional effort. Add those 2 together, and that will give you your effort estimation for the functional and non-functional parts of your software. SNAP allows you to measure things that function points don't. Function points do not measure algorithms. SNAP does. Function points do not measure extensive logic processing. Many software applications basically have a large help manual that's programmed into the software. Those large help manuals are not counted under function points. SNAP also accounts for data encryption. Well, this concludes our first presentation. Please proceed to presentation 2 for details on how to count SNAP points. And our references are on the next slide here. And like I said before, these will cover the references for these first 5 videos, video 1, 2, 3A, 3B, and 4. And if you see a reference later on, you can always come back to video 1. And with that, I will close out and recommend that you go to presentation 2.